Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
I tell you, I have absolutely got to be focused today and get to all the news. The science news, the technology news, the police state news. It is all just over the top important. We don't have any guests today, ladies and gentlemen, on this live Friday edition, so we will take a lot of your phone calls. I'll try to go to them as quickly as possible. Obviously, John Kerry has been subpoenaed finally on Bengazi Gate with these new emails. I even saw a clip this morning on CNN on YouTube from last night where they were talking about the same clip that I'd seen where the press secretary, Carney, goes, oh, that part of the memo, the email that says we need to all follow talking points, that doesn't deal with Bengazi, even though the memo deals with Bengazi. And the host of CNN, the reporter, says, that's like holding my hands up and saying these aren't my hands. Remember Gibbs, the former PR propagandist for Obama, famously last year went on MSNBC and made a joke, and he said, look, there's a drone program that's public, killing people all over the world, and we're told to tell the press it doesn't exist. That's like saying the sun didn't come up this morning. But separately, even though one CNN host is telling the truth, I've got a CNN article, and it's got an accompanying video report here, where they say, is Bengazi important, or is it a right-wing conspiracy theory? And that follows the old Clinton memo to tell mainstream media in the early 90s, anybody says we're corrupt on Cattlegate, Vince Foster, which was all true, well, all you do then is basically say they're a conspiracy theorist. So some reporters want to still have ratings and still not be a complete joke. And no, it's not going to fly saying, oh, the Bengazi memo is not about Bengazi. That's not going to fly anywhere. But other reporters are basically saying that. So it's just like when we published 2 days ago the article that had links to the Justice Department saying that, you know, banks don't have gun shops or things as customers because that's a high-risk, you know, thing. Outside of law, it's a sanction on gun dealers and the gun industry. They had their disinfo operatives running around like chickens with their heads cut off saying that it didn't exist. By the way, guys, before I forget about it, I heard 590 this morning covering it off the news, and I didn't have a chance to search engine it. They've had some group that I would imagine is connected to Bloomberg saying, we're coming out with biometric guns, and the NRA is threatening us and doesn't want us to sell them. What's wrong with biometric guns? Well, the problem is you're going to ban all our other guns and make us get biometric guns, and the Attorney General admits they're debating and discussing an executive order to do that, and even Senator Cornyn has come out 2 weeks ago and said the plan they're pushing, and he warned the president not to do it, is to sign an executive order. So another example of how they play the part of the victim. Look, if you want to make a biometric gun and sell it, that's your business. The thing is, none of us are going to buy it. And we know it's a Trojan horse to go after our guns, admittedly. And so that's why people are so against biometric guns. I'm not against a personal biometric safe that isn't wired into a smart meter with my biometrics. I have biometric safes for long guns and handguns because you just put your thumb on it, boom. Well, one of them's an index finger, and boom, the drawer pops open. And as long as you've got fresh batteries in it, you can get to the gun instantly, but my children can't. So I'm not against technology. I'm against the improper deployment of it. But that's not even the big news. I want to talk about payrolls in the U.S. rise. Most since 2012, unemployment, they claim, has dropped massively. And if you believe that, you believe in Santa Claus and that he rides a magic carpet pulled by Easter bunnies. We've just got so much news coming up today. Stay with us. It's going to be a jam-packed transmission. Infowars.com. Well, my friends, it's hard to believe that it's already the second day of May, 2014, on this worldwide Friday edition. I am your host, Alex Jones. We're going to be here for the next 3 hours live, and I'll be back with an original Sunday transmission 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time as well. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Where to begin? Where to start? Let me just mention some of the stacks here. House GOP, Obama withholding emails is criminal. Finally, we're getting some of the proper statements that deal with reality. Finally, we're escalating up to the level of the globalist. Top general says we didn't even try to save American lives in Bengazi. That's because the plan was to kill those people there who had criticized giving missiles to al-Qaeda, which we later learned about. Continuing, ladies and gentlemen, they have now subpoenaed the Secretary of State, John Kerry, and I have those documents that we're going to be going over dealing with that. But the response of people like Jay Carney, we're going to play that clip coming up, the White House press secretary, is to say it is a right-wing conspiracy theory that basically Bengazi didn't even happen. Issa subpoenas Kerry to testify on Bengazi, and Carney responds saying it's, quote, a conspiracy theory looking for a conspiracy theory. No, you got caught lying about the emails. You got caught ordering the stand down, and it's all coming out. Here's the headline. Carney on Bengazi is a conspiracy theory looking for a conspiracy theory. You would have to ask the State Department about how they responded to FOIA requests. So they've been caught in their super Nixon moment, already on Fast and Furious, Solyndra, all the rest of the endless corruption. And now they're caught red-handed on this. I mean, Obamacare is a giant criminal boondoggle. But the Republican leadership comes out and says, hey, it's a done deal. It's for good. Stop complaining. 80% of you that don't like it, including most Democrats, you're going to accept it. It's, quote, here to stay. You will be assimilated. It's over. So that you just become helpless. If something is upwards of 80% or more negative, is a total ripoff. All these big corporations are exempt. It's designed to screw everybody. Death panels, increasing prices, lowering care, on its face being challenged everywhere. And they say, it's here to stay. Nothing you can do about it. Remember Baghdad Bob? That was his nickname, the Iraqi information minister. They ended up taking tapes of him and having best-selling DVDs sold online in 1993. I mean, in 2003. I even bought one. It's somewhere here around the office where there's planes flying behind him, 2 miles behind him, explosions, the ground is shaking. The American pigs have been defeated. They have been driven out of Iraq completely. Missiles firing, explosions behind him. I mean, this is wild. This is the equivalent of walking in and your wife's got a guy on top of her in the bed, no covers. You see everything going on. It's your neighbor. He turns to you and says, hey, Bob. Hi, I was over here checking your air conditioner for your wife. And you say, no, Jim, you're on top of her. You are having sex with my wife. And he gets off and he goes, that's outrageous, standing there naked in front of you. No such thing has happened, and this is just ridiculous. And you say, okay, well, what's that? What's what? Why are your clothes off? I mean, it would be hilarious, redonkulous, I think is the word, if it wasn't so serious. Can you guys find online Baghdad Bob? I wanted to play some of him today for people that forget him. He's wearing a black beret and he's wearing like a camo outfit and he's up there going, ridiculous, our forces have crushed the Americans and the coalition, driven them back. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, turn him up. He's in English. Oh, my goodness. I tell you what. It is just so incredible. You know what? We'll get him on for you later, folks. The whole point is that, look, we even have the DVD. I told you, they're not a sponsor. They haven't sold these in years. But, I mean, I told you I own it. They somehow found it back in the video library. Baghdad Bob.
Here in Baghdad. It's good, as you see it. The traffic and everything is good.
Their allegations, I think it's some kind of a cover to their failure.
This is a fact. You can check it. One. Second, they are not in hold of any Iraqi town. They are on the move. As I have mentioned, they are deceiving their soldiers and their officers that aggressing against Iraq and invading Iraq will be like a picnic.
Is his last name Jay Carney?
This is a very stupid lie they are telling their soldiers. What they are facing is a definite death. They are trapped everywhere in the country. They are trapped in Qasr. They are trapped near Basra. They are trapped near Nasiriyah. They are trapped near Najaf. They are everywhere because we will keep them on the move.
That's enough. Please turn off Jay Carney's father. These aren't even the good clips. Good job finding it in mere seconds, gentlemen. There are clips where he says they're nowhere in the country. We've defeated them, blown them up, while explosions are going off. You ought to give this to the guys in the back from the Nightly News tonight. We ought to take clips of Baghdad Bob saying the Americans are nowhere, they've been defeated, and then cut into Obama saying you can keep your doctor, and then cut into Jay Carney saying, listen, that memo that talks about Benghazi and talks about having talking points, those talking points are not about Benghazi. I mean, that is the same equivalent. Or Obamacare, here's another good one, has cut the prices of your health care. Or here's another good one. There is no $5,000 fine per employee if you don't get your employee's insurance in 2014, even though my accountant has us prepared, our CPA, one of the best in the city, to pay the fines this year. No, the Americans are nowhere in Iraq. They are defeated. I mean, this is like Hitler in the bunker as Berlin is burning, saying that none of this exists. Okay, we're good with Baghdad Bob for now, guys. Thanks a lot. That's good. We do have Carney, though, now for everybody, saying it is a conspiracy theory. He is the new Baghdad Bob. And again, I saw a CNN clip this morning. I've got to find it again. It was on the front page of YouTube of one of the CNN anchors. It's a blonde-haired guy. I forget his name. Going, this is preposterous. Of course it's about Benghazi in the memo on Benghazi. It's like saying my hands aren't my hands when I'm holding them up to you. This is the level of lying. But they're counting on you being so stupid that you just hear that Obamacare is free and you believe it. So here is Jay Carney on the conspiracy theory.
You would have to ask the State Department about how they responded to FOIA requests. I would, again, point you to the fact that, I mean, all you have to do is read it, Ed, right? Top line points, goals, that kind of stuff. The only mention of Benghazi in the email is a question about what's your response to a story by the Independent newspaper in the UK that says we had intelligence for hours in advance of the attack that was ignored. Not aware of any actionable intelligence was the answer. And then what does it do? It cuts and pastes the same line from the CIA talking points that, again, was what Ambassador Rice used.
So it's not about Benghazi. Why turn it over in a Benghazi suit? It seems...
you would have to ask State Department about their process for responding to FOIA requests. Again, you can just read it and then decide for yourself. As many people have now said and written, like, this is a conspiracy theory in search of a conspiracy.
The conservative group comes in and says, we want Benghazi documents. The administration says, this is not a Benghazi document, so we're not turning it over, right?
Again, I don't, like, this is a State Department FOIA request response.
So it's a bogus conspiracy theory from the GOP. Where'd you get these droids? These aren't the droids you're looking for. You can move along. You can move along. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they say the economy with Cook numbers grew 0.1%, and they say that they added 203,000 jobs in new fake numbers. We told you that would happen. It's making everybody go from 40 hours to 30 or less. People are picking up other work. They're counting that as a new job. It's literally planet hoax with the White House doing nothing but shoveling total BS at everyone at a level never before seen except by Baghdad Bob. They say in North Korea that Kim Jong-un makes the birds tweet. And now they've got Ellen DeGeneres and all these others saying Obamacare, quote, everyone loves it. It's made it so affordable. Oh, everyone loves it. Everyone should be thanking you, President Obama. No, everyone doesn't love it. Upwards of 80% hate it. The rest will hate it once they learn. They're just very stupid and still believe the con artist. So this is the reality of what we're dealing with. Ellen thanks Obama for Obamacare. Everyone's very grateful you did this. We are literally seeing a culture of pure baloney being shoveled onto everybody. And the elite are so disconnected from reality. They're like Kim Jong-un wanting a burnout, nobody, drug addict joke, Dennis Rodman, to come hang out with him. I mean, Dennis Rodman's out of touch going. Kim Jong-un's out of touch wanting him there. Kim Jong-un, even though he has a haircut similar to mine, I'm making it popular, the Kim Jong-un. My dad was joking. He goes, you need to get your hair cut. Your hair looks like Kim Jong-un now. Actually, he is an extremely handsome devil. Do you know he's actually the world powerlifting champion, Kim Jong-un? Yeah, state-run media said so. We know Bill Clinton isn't even in the top 10 now of most ridiculous liars. Jay Carney and Obama are right up there at the top. But here's the question. Do they deserve the Baghdad Bob Award for 2014? Because Kim Jong-un, they claim he makes the birds tweet and the sun shine and is actually like a heavenly creature. So North Korea, this is a global contest. So I don't think Obama and Jay Carney have reached the level of Kim Jong-un yet. But they're getting close. They are getting close. So I want to open the phones up, and I want to ask all of you, where do you think the Bengazi investigation is going? What do you think is going to happen during the subpoena of Kerry? Will he try to refuse the subpoena? Is this the end of Obama? Because we know it was really a hit of Ambassador Stevens. We've confirmed that with inside whistleblowers like Tosh Plumlee and other intel sources like Colonel Schaefer and others, who says he believes it was a hit. When I said the government was killing him, and then kind of backtracked and said, well, I said it was a hit. We just don't know who. Well, the al-Qaeda security force was hired to run security by the State Department and the Pentagon in Bengazi, which had been used that year as the base of operations to topple Muammar Gaddafi. Now they're using Libya as a base of operations to attack all of Africa, basically, or the central and northern areas. And then the Pentagon's moving in with AFRICOM to counter their own forces that were deployed. Again, they don't run them. They just bring them in, give them weapons, like a bunch of minions, evil minions in Despicable Me. They run around blowing stuff up, missiling, shooting, flame-throwing, raping, murdering. And then later, the West has an excuse to come in and take over an area, and those guys load on C-130s, and they're flown out by the Pentagon and NATO to the next base of operations. And if you don't believe me, look up, quote, the airlift of evil, the Times of London, where 40,000 Taliban and al-Qaeda commanders, including generals, were flown out the month after the invasion of Afghanistan, paid in gold bars on C-130s to Pakistan to start the next operation of destabilization. There's NBC reporting on it, the airlift of evil. Why did we let Pakistan pull volunteers out of Kunduz? Let them. November 29th, 2001, 1 month after the invasion. September, October, November, about a month and a half after. See, my memory did not fail. The guys just search engined what I said. This isn't pre-planned, and it was there as I said it was. 98% of the time, my brain is still accurate. Sometimes I get stuff wrong, and you catch it, let us know, we correct it. But back then, I'd go, look, NBC, Times of London. They had a Special Forces colonel went public to break it to the San Francisco Chronicle and said, look, we were loading them on C-130s with gold, and these were the people that were supposedly in the war. But the truth is, we were just supposed to shell conscripts in front of the cities in ditches, and it was all for show. Yeah, they took 14-year-olds on average, stuck them in ditches. Our military would bomb them and kill them. And then the al-Qaeda would stay in the cities and wait for the C-130s to land after the the country surrendered, quote, load them on the aircraft, fly them out to start the next trouble. Well, now that's been done everywhere else. But finally, it's so public. And the military, special forces, and contractors, even the guys that are pretty amoral, that have been selected because they were willing to ship drugs in. And, you know, it's one thing to ship drugs into the U.S. so you can get an extra $100,000 a year or whatever, you know, for your girlfriend. It's another thing to give heat-seeking missiles to al-Qaeda when al-Qaeda is laughing at you, saying you're a wimp and they're going to kill you. I liked killing you, Army and Marines in Iraq, and we will kill you next. That's come out, they do that. And I've talked to the people who've actually been there and witnessed it. And you've heard Tosh Plumlee talk about it too. Imagine you've got to go train and give weapons to guys that literally feel so guilty that they're even associating with you themselves that they tell you, I'm going to kill you when I get a chance. That's how dumb the globalists think you are. I want to hear from everybody. Who is the greatest BSer? Is it Kim Jong-un, Obama, Bill Clinton, Jay Carney, or Baghdad Bob? Or who do you think? Maybe it's that congressman who thinks that islands float, so you can't build buildings on them, like Guam, or they'll turn over because they float. They're not the tips of mountains under the ocean. They're floating phantasms, and if you don't believe that, you're a racist or a conspiracy theorist or worse. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have is a bunch of completely amoral, psychologically, spiritually bankrupt globalists at the top that are eugenicists, so they have a hatred of humankind. And then you've got all their mercenaries and minions and corporate frauds and liars who are removed from the actual death, suffering, disease, and wickedness, and who live in denial and have decided that they are God's gift for the planet. Most of these mid-level minions actually think they're doing a great job. You're not doing a great job. And the world sees through Baghdad Bob, Kim Jong-un, Jay Carney, Barack Obama, and John Boehner. When John Boehner says we'll change some of Obamacare to make it better, you cannot put perfume on a dead, rotting pig. You cannot polish a you-know-what. There is no use for any of this but to get rid of all of it. And to realize healthcare is screwed up because of the corporate interest that wrote Obamacare have already gotten government involved the last 50 years and ruined the best healthcare system in the world. If you don't like the way things are going, you don't get deeper down the same direction and think it's going to change. That's the definition of mental illness. And I know you know that, but they're sitting there with a straight face going, Congress has a 6% approval rating, but it's extremist and dangerous to not like the government. 80% or more don't like Obamacare, and the numbers are growing every day, but you are a kook and a racist and a bigot and a conspiracy theorist and a nutball because you don't like it. This Bengazi memo has nothing to do with Bengazi. It's a conspiracy theory. And even the mainline corporate whore media is going, excuse me? Even CNN's going, excuse me?
Like, this is a conspiracy and theory and spiritual conspiracy.
The conservative group comes in and says, we want Benghazi documents. The administration says, this is not a Benghazi document, so we're not turning it over, right?
Again, I don't, like, this is a State Department FOIA request.
I mean, that is really a hard deal to put up with and face. But if you go back to Bill Clinton memo in the early 90s that the Western Journalism Center got, that's public from the library, admitted that we spent 3 shows on the last 2 weeks, is it's so important. It says, when they counter us on cattle futures, when they counter us on Vince Foster, when they counter us on sex scandals, when anybody breaks any of this, whether it's a mainstream news article or a new media article, we call it a conspiracy theory and say they're trying to make money. Well, of course we're trying to make money, just like any other media operation. We are in the type of media we're in because it's our passion and we believe in the Second Amendment, family values, property rights, national sovereignty, a court system that isn't corrupt, a police force that isn't corrupt, a military that isn't part of an empire, and then we need to make money to then build our media organization, pay our journalists, pay our reporters, pay our camera crews, pay our researchers, pay our accountants, pay our lawyers, pay our secretaries. And then, yeah, of course, we like driving a car that doesn't break down. Of course we like taking the kids on a vacation and buying the missus some nice dresses. But that isn't our God. If that was our God, we would have sold out to you to be paid 10 times more. But they try to make it about they can make money, they can have media organizations, they can have Air Force One and red carpets and $2 million a night in hotels for Mrs. Obama or Mrs. Clinton. But, oh, my gosh, heaven forbid that there be any libertarian or conservative groups that are tax exempt promoting pro-life or something. We've got to shut that down. Why, you just can't have anything. Heaven forbid that Africans ever have air conditioning or a car. Obama told them that's bad. You got to stay poor slaves, not industrialized, and walk around in bare feet mining diamonds for De Beers and Oppenheimers, where they literally each person brings out hundreds of carats a day sometimes and then gets nothing and lives in an open tent, almost starving to death with guys with machine guns over them, so that men can go use a year's salary to buy their girlfriend a 4-carat diamond ring, or she'll throw a fit if he doesn't. All the diamonds are blood diamonds. All the diamonds are evil diamonds. Do I need to play a clip of Obama saying Africans can't have air conditioning or a car? That's what they're teaching all the trendies in Austin. You're going to live in a 200-square-foot thing with your family. And then those of us that run the scam, we're going to live in big mansions in the countryside, and we're going to be exempt because our mansions are an environmental easement that the former mayor, now a state senator, grabbed and owns himself and runs through a bank. His name's Kirk Watson. And the same scams run everywhere. These people have 10, 15, 20-bedroom houses, huge rivers, huge lakes, skeet shooting, zip lines, 5,000 yards line over cliffs, just helicopter pads. And it's all rancher property they took. And then they sit on it in environmental easements, tax exempt and don't pay property tax. That's just the local fake enviro crooks. The Rockefellers, look it up. The first national park, the first 2 national parks on the East Coast, there's PBS documentary about it, were their ancestral homes and 10, 20,000 acre homesteads. I'm talking thousands of acres like golf courses, folks. You think the French have big gardens? The French emperors, the French kings had those big gardens that were all manicured. The Rockefellers, I saw it on television, have one that went on for thousands of acres with all these sculptures, and it was the first national park, but it's private for them, and it's all tax exempt. The helicopters, the palaces, they all control it. It's theirs. Yeah, they just pulled up the Rockefeller National Parks, and then there's little corridors where the citizens can drive that are fenced off, and then you can see some of it. All tax exempt, everything. Warren Buffett, tax exempt, all of them, tax exempt. I remember growing up in Dallas, my dad knew a lot of rich people, really rich people. And that was all the big joke. I mean, there's a lot of famous quotes. There was some famous billionaire woman, I remember, in the 80s, and she said, taxes? Rich people don't pay taxes, because that's the big joke. Growing up, my dad would explain that the little guy and the nouveau riche, that's French for new rich, they pay the taxes. A guy making $10 million a year that employs 5,000 people, he pays taxes. She pays taxes. When you get into the elite club, you don't pay taxes anymore. How big of a hoax is that? You get your sports stadiums paid for. I've already been on this rant all week. I apologize. We're going to go to your phone calls. Yeah, that was Leona Helmsley. Great job, guys, finding it. That's right. She says, we don't pay taxes. Only little people pay taxes. She was 19, 2007, was an American businesswoman. She was known for her flamboyant personality and had a reputation for tyrannical behavior that earned her the nickname the Queen of Mean. She was promoted by Bieber Silverman Group and its co-owner, Joyce Bieber, who persuaded her to call herself Queen of the Palace Hotel. Following allegations by unpaid contractors that work done on her home had been charged to her company, she was investigated and convicted of federal income tax evasion and other crimes. She was low level. Although having initially received a sentence of 16 years, Helmsley was required to only serve 19 months in prison and 2 months under house arrest. During the trial, a former housekeeper testified that she had heard Helmsley say, "We don't pay taxes, only little people pay taxes," and saying that became notorious and was identified with her for the rest of her life. That was her because she worked for rich people. She was just nouveau riche, but worked for the elite, kind of like worked for a Madoff-type group. That was her shooting her mouth off. But they burned her because she was such a big mouth. The entire ruling Socialist Party, this came out last year, in France, pays 0 taxes federally. The EU bureaucrats passed a law a decade ago. They pay 0 taxes federally in the EU tax. Everybody else does. And when they found all their Swiss bank accounts, because they were taking everybody else's Swiss bank accounts that was after-tax money, there was a big scandal and no one got in trouble. They raised a 101% tax. Look it up. Just type in, France has 101% tax on people making over €1 million a year. That sounds like a lot, folks, but when you pay taxes and make, say, $1 million, that's about $1 million, you pay in France 78% federal. You add everything else in it. French making €1 million a year literally can't even live in a nice house. Taxes on some wealthy French top 100% of income. Reuters. Actually, it was over that. If you look at Forbes, they did the analysis, it was 101%. Of course, they were exempt. They were exempt. And they're exempt from all of it. If you're part of one of the inside parties, you just get left alone. And then you get big government checks from the middle class, and you get to live in a house for free and then get welfare money or a government job and get to go around bossing everybody around. And so the French middle class is stopping working. I know people that live in France, Brits and Americans, and they say the French more and more will not work. Why should they? Yeah, there's Forbes. French tax soars over 100%. All right, I said I'd go to your phone calls. Who is the greatest BSer of the modern age? Is it Baghdad Bob saying Iraq was never invaded in 2003, America was defeated, their information minister? Is it Jay Carney saying that no one's increased your health care prices, you can keep your doctor, Obama never said you could keep your doctor, and the Bengazi memo has nothing to do with Bengazi, and the drone program does not exist, even though it's public. There are no drones, and there are no 2.6 billion bullets. There is no government drug dealing, even though it's all admitted in Congress, and nothing's happening. And the Attorney General, says that he doesn't have to testify, even though he has to. I mean, who is the greatest baloney artist of them all? Who is the greatest Pinocchio? Who has the longest proboscis, the longest snout, the longest nose, the longest little air hole? Who has that? That's my question. We're going to go to your phone calls right now. Then we're going to get into all the other news, the baloney employment numbers. Did you hear things are great? Yeah, because more than 15 million people, they admit, are having to get a second job, so they're going to count all those as new jobs. Even though they admit that 92 million, but if you add others, 90+ million Americans are not working. Women not in labor force hits record high. Miami's poor, living on $11 a day as boom widens wealth gap. Comedian Bob Schneider, if I pronounced that right, blast Obama. We are sliding very fast towards fascism. Darrell Issa demands John Kerry appear before committee over Bengazi. Disturbing. Disregard for legal obligations. Not a game. Boehner to form select committee developing. GOP withholding email. Criminal. Groundhammer, like discovering of Nixon tapes during Watergate. It's 50 times worse. Obama official, dude, this was like 2 years ago. Pelosi, why we aren't talking about something else. That's all drudgereport.com. Let's look at Infowars.com. It's got a lot of the same stuff, but some other news as well. Wall Street killed Peaches Geldof. Very important article about government drug dealing. Black Ops, helicopters, buzz Kentucky residents. There's video. Man arrested in FBI sting, found dead in federal custody. Boy, that's happening more and more. Oh, Alex was taken in for custody. He's dead. Mm-hmm. Who investigates it? The FBI. Why is the media silent about the crucifixion of Christians by radical jihadists? Very important article. Fed up freshman's white privilege essay goes viral. I apologize for nothing. Polls, Americans are sick of the war on terror, war on drugs, and all other failed U.S. wars. Carney will just tell you love it. Company fires employee for tweeting that bigot Sterling had right to private opinion. That's right. You'll now be fired for saying, I don't like Sterling, but he has a right to his opinion. See, now free speech is bigoted. See? Told you it was going to that. Big banks started laundering massive sums of drug money in the 1980s and are still doing it today. Yep, that's okay. The police aren't allowed to investigate that. They're allowed to put all of us under suspicion with no proof. By the way, folks are probably asking why I'm wearing a security guard uniform today with the Bohemian Grove security patch. I will tell everyone at the bottom of the next hour why I'm wearing this and what it signifies. I'll just say Billy Corrigan of Smashing Pumpkins sent it to me, and I opened it up in the mail yesterday, and I've got to say I love the way this shirt fits, and I'm going to buy some of these separately. I like the choice of Bohemian Grove security. Why did Billy Corrigan give me a Bohemian Grove security shirt and patch? My kids go to a homeschool academy, and I was dropping them off this morning at it, and people are like, what is that? It's a cool. And I went, you know, only 1 in 1,000 people would get it probably, so I better not even say anything. We're going to go to break and come back and go to Woody, Jeff, Shane, John, Tiffany, and others. If you just joined us, it is the Friday worldwide transmission. I'll be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, and it will be an original transmission. I've been taking off some because of the holidays and family stuff. Had a sick grandmother and other things. I mean, I'm only taking off a few of the weekends, but the point is I don't like doing that, so we'll have an original transmission for you coming up this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Briefly, spreading the word about the broadcast is the #1 thing you can do. I'm risking my life, my name, my treasure, everything to do this because I know we can beat these people. The only time evil can flourish is when good men and women sit down and let evil run rampant. Well, I'm a testament, 19 years on air, to wreaking havoc on bad guys, on scum, on globalists. I mean, they hate me. I'm in the White House memos. It's public. They pull their hair out. They hate Infowars.com. They hate PrisonPlanet.com. The TSA hates us. They all hate us, and that's good. I want you to go on hating me. And, you know, if you knew you were fighting for your life and didn't have a choice and that somebody wasn't going to make it out of here alive, how hard would you fight, folks? Would you swing for the fences? That's what I'm doing. Infowars is swinging for the fences. We're putting it all on the line, eye of the tiger focused, because we know there's no future if we don't turn this around. So financially support us. Spread the word about the broadcast to get the word out, but also fund the home base with the key products at InfoWarsStore.com. We got a lot of specials and sales going on the Nascent iodine, on water filters, on so much at InfoWarsStore.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. We can take the country back. We can put these people in prison. We can reverse the tide of the kleptocracy and bring back the free market. We can bring back the justice. We can bring back everything that made the world love America before we fell to the New World Order. But you've got to find your will. You've got to make the decision for what you stand. As long as there is one last survivor that knows what liberty is, that fire can always spread and defeat the darkness that is the New World Order. Let's go to Woody in Chicago. Who is the best baloney in the world? Is it Carney, the press secretary? Is it Obama? Is it Baghdad Bob? Is it Kim Jong-un? Is it Bill Clinton? Is it Hillary? Who is it?
I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
I did not have sex with that woman. How dare you? How dare
It has to be It has to be Bill Clinton. No, hands down. No question about it.
I don't know. He would lie about stuff. He would lie about stuff that couldn't be proven one way or another. Saying there's no drone program when it's public, that's bigger.
It goes all the way back to when he was running for president, when he said, "Yeah, I tried marijuana, but I didn't inhale." I mean, yeah, I mean, with this guy, just whatever reality is, it's his figment of imagination. It has no bearing in truth.
No, you're right. You're right. All right, good points. Thank you for making that. All right, that's one vote for Bill Clinton. That is one for Bill Clinton. All right. Let's get one more in here. We're going to go to a lot of them. Jeff in FEMA Region 6. I guess that's near Texas. I live in FEMA Region 6, formerly Texas, literally. Who do you think the greatest baloney master is?
Oh, the greatest baloney master has to be our president, because everything that comes out of his mouth is actually a lie. His nose must be 2 feet long. You know, look at all the drugs they're shipping in, and then they talk about, well, you never hear Obama talking about drug abuse or the war on drugs. It's always, how can he get the right amount of press to make him look better? And it's crazy how he's on all these talk shows. He's supposed to be the president of the United States. He's supposed to be a constitutional scholar, and all the guy's done is lie, lie, lie. Don't you agree with me?
Yes, but, you know, a lot of times they hire doctors to be hitmen because they're so good at killing people because they know how the body works. That's why they hired Obama, a constitutional scholar. He knows how to kill America. That makes sense?
Yes, well, he's really into his drone program. Of course, you never hear anything on the news. You know, international news just seems to be shut off in America, and that's why I left your show, because we actually get all the international news.
Well, we got some of that coming up, brother. Thank you. We're going to come back in 1 minute. 800-259-9231. Shane, John, Tiffany, and others. No votes for Baghdad Bob? I mean, he's... come on. All right, we started the second hour. They've subpoenaed Lord Kerry on Bengazi. We've got a bunch of Ukraine stories with more helicopters being shot down. We've got a lot of important economic news and your phone calls. But we really need to just talk about the level of lies and deceit with Gibbs saying that they were told to say there was no drone program when it was a public program. Now saying the Bengazi memo that they lied about is not a Bengazi memo. It's like going to the zoo and there's an elephant and saying to your 5-year-old, that's not an elephant. That's actually Santa Claus. I mean, it's really getting weird. It's Baghdad Bob level, where he's standing there with the bombs going off behind him in Iraq as the Iraqi information minister saying the Americans have been driven from the country. They are weak. They are driven from country. We defeat them, and like 2 miles away, a huge mushroom cloud bomb goes off. 2,000-pound bomb. And again, I was against the Iraq war, but I'm just saying that guy was a piece of work. That guy was a huge piece of work. And that's the level of this. How do they get away with it? We're taking your phone calls. Shane in North Carolina, you're on the air. Welcome.
Alex, let me be clear. If you like the radio station, you can keep it. But you are a racist, radical extremist. Hillary, what's your opinion?
What difference does it make? They're all radical extremists.
I'll tell you what. We know and expect certain politicians to be the biggest BSers, so I want to address the ones that, in my opinion, are the most dangerous to the patriot movement, and that is, I know you don't like to quote-unquote infight, but I don't think it's infighting to talk about shills like Glenn Beck. That's just my opinion. But, you know, he came out early on, looked at how he sabotaged the Ron Paul movement at a critical time in 2007. You know, this money bomb's terrorists, and
I don't know about you, but Ron Paul, I mean, here's the quote. I don't know about you, but Ron Paul's scary. He calls his movement a money bomb, blowing things up. The army needs to be used against him, close quote.
Well, that's just the beginning. You think about all the things that he said over the years, and in my opinion, he's sort of like a sleeper cell for the elite because, you know, for one, I think that when he, quote-unquote, got fired from Fox, I honestly think that was part of the...
I don't know. They really hated him up there. I don't know. Listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I don't infight, and it's a classy thing I do. He said that I was basically wanting violent overthrow of the government and that I was covering up for Bundy's racism, pure bull. And so I had to come out against it to protect my operation. That said, a few days ago, I had multiple affiliates hear it. One of my friends heard it. I haven't gone to listen. But he said, all right, we all need to work together. That guy's not that bad. You know, he's kind of like Malcolm X, though, and I'm like Martin Luther King. We just don't need violence, but let's stop the infighting. So he got a lot of heat doing that. He obviously got spanked. I don't want to be enemies with Glenn Beck. It makes me feel bad to attack him. I'm not jealous of him. I wish him long days, pleasant nights. I actually like a lot of the stuff he's done. A lot of people don't like his style. I think he's really a smart guy. I mean, he went on air and said they're going to blow stuff up and blame the Liberty Movement on Fox. I don't want him to be Benedict Arnold, but I agree that at key points, I think he thinks he's covering his butt and that he is throwing people under the bus at critical times to do that. And listen, we're going to lose everything if people that love liberty, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, call us right-wing, call us classical liberals, call us constitutionalists, libertarians. We believe in America, okay? And I don't want to be enemies with him. He does a lot of good work, okay?
Yeah, hey, listen, I have one more thing, if you don't mind, actually.
Sure.
And that is an idea that I think is pretty good. It'd be kind of a fun satire thing for InfoWars crew to do, and that is to take, like, basically old-school history situations like, you know, say Rosa Parks or, you know, classical things in our history like Martin Luther King and just, you know, random things like that, and basically say if CNN and MSNBC was around back then, how they would cover it. You know, they'd be calling, like, Rosa Parks a terrorist and, like... That's
a great idea. You know. They would be... No, that's a great... In fact, I made that point. That's a great idea. Be right back. Well, the White House lied and said that there were no emails on Bengazi in the first day. We have the memo on Bengazi out for 2 days that clearly shows they were involved in talking points in a cover-up. We know that there was a stand-down. We know weapons were being transferred to al-Qaeda. Now, the Congressman Issa's committee is subpoenaing the Secretary of State, John Kerry. Will he refuse the subpoena? Like Eric Holder has done, will he refuse the documents? Because Holder will come testify, but he won't give the documents up. And so no one should even be at those hearings, as has been pointed out. He should be in jail, as multiple members of Congress from Texas have pointed out. Now, Boehner's eyeing a special committee on Bengazi. That'll be a whitewash with his specially appointed House and Senate members that will, you know, act like they're investigating but covered it up. Just like Boehner is propping up Obamacare with claiming, oh, we'll tweak a couple pieces of it. Tweak 13,000 rider pages on a multi-thousand-page total bill? How do you tweak a sword chopping America's head off? A meat cleaver coming down on us, written to shut down the country. I'm going to go to your phone calls. If you just joined us, we're asking phone callers, we're asking listeners, who is the greatest liar? Who is the greatest BSer? Do we have the clip? What's the congressman's name from Georgia that thinks islands float? And then if you build too much on them, they flip over? Is it Hank Johnson? I think he's disqualified because I think he's such an airhead that he actually believes that.
That the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. The Guam population, I think, currently about 175,000, and again, with 8,000 Marines and their families, it's an addition of about 25,000 more into the population.
Or is it Carney? Or is it the Carney that says the Bengazi memo that says it's about Bengazi that they lied about, that Judicial Watch got? They're now saying that isn't about Bengazi.
Like, this is a conspiracy in theory and virtue of a conspiracy.
The conservative group comes in and says, we want Benghazi documents. The administration says, this is not a Benghazi document, so we're not turning it over, right?
Again, I don't, like, this is a State Department FOIA request response.
Or is it Robert Gibbs, the last propagandist before Carney, saying that there is no drone program when he admits there was a public drone program that's public? It's like saying the New York Yankees don't exist, or it's like saying that Warren Buffett doesn't exist, or it's like saying Angela Merkel doesn't exist of Germany, or it's like saying Hillary Clinton doesn't exist, or it's like saying George Washington didn't exist, or it's like saying the Dallas Cowboys don't exist. Anyone with a brain above room temperature knows these things exist. In fact, there's the Gibbs quote. Robert Gibbs, I was told not even to acknowledge the drone program. So you go to the congressman, Jesse Ventura did, and said, yeah, you wrote that bill to build FEMA camps that have already been constructed, but expand them, the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. And the Tennessee congressman goes, in this fake kind of Nelly person meets Foghorn Leghorn. He goes, do you believe space aliens are going to come down out of the sky, Governor, and eat children on the ground? There is no such bill, that he co-sponsored and wrote. And Ventura goes, really? And he goes, well, I have the bill right here. Here's the number. And he goes, oh, I declare that bill. And then goes, literally like, what's the name of the lady in Gone with the Wind? Scarlet. Literally talks like Scarlet. Puts his hand to his mouth and goes, oh, my goodness, I did not know that you meant that bill. We have to end this conversation right now. I'm not going to discuss that bill. I mean, we got congressmen saying islands are floating. We got congressmen saying aliens are going to eat children if you bring up a bill they wrote. I mean, these people are a bunch of freaks.
When I went through the process of becoming press secretary, one of the first things they told me was, you're not even to acknowledge the drone program. You're not even to discuss that it exists. Wow. And so I would get a question like that, and literally I couldn't tell you what major asked, because once I figured out it was about the drone program, I realized I'm not supposed to talk about it. But here's what's inherently, you're being asked a question based on reporting of a program that exists. Right. So you're the official government spokesperson acting as if the entire program, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Right.
And then there's another clip that I haven't found yet. It was on the front page of YouTube this morning, but they customize it for your searches. So there's a bunch of news clips on there and race cars. That's why I was looking at those two. I was watching some race car stuff. Anyways, last night when the kids went to bed, so in between the race car stuff and news clips on the front of my YouTube homepage, it was a clip of CNN, and the headline was something like, CNN reporter talks about Carney and Bengazi memo. And the reporter says the same thing. He goes, they're denying reality, like saying our hands don't exist, and laughing about it. But it's not funny, because they're getting away with it. This would be like if the cops pulled you over and you can hardly talk, you're slurring your words, there's a bottle of Jack Daniels open in the driver's seat, a beer open, and you're hiccuping, and there's 12 packs of beer in the back with two people passed out drunk who vomited on each other. Okay? And the cop pulls you over and says you're weaving, and you go, oh, not been drinking. Okay? And then you just open the door and go, I love you, officer, and start trying to hug them. I mean, this is beyond that. This is beyond that. This is how they talk to us. This is how government treats us.
That the attack at Bengazi was rooted in a protest over the video? That's what she's...
I know that you and I are both in a different time zone right now, but we're still in April of 2014, and this is a discussion about what she said and what turned out to be the case that we have had dozens of times in this room.
You heard that. It's a conspiracy theory. Now, I think Baghdad Bob, I'm not trying to prejudice folks, I think Baghdad Bob saying the U.S. forces weren't even in Iraq when they were in Baghdad, I think he's who I'm voting for. I get one vote for Baghdad Bob. We got one vote for Bill Clinton, one vote for Obama, one vote for Baghdad Bob. That's my one vote. Who do you think the greatest BSer of the last 20 years is? We're talking right now about giving awards out. The Baghdad Bob Award will be given today, the first annual. We'll do it on May 2nd every day, after May Day, celebrating communism, celebrating fraud, slavery called liberty. That's communism. We will give the Baghdad Bob Award. John in Missouri, thanks for holding. Who do you think the Baghdad Bob winner is? Then we'll go to Tiffany.
Hey, brother.
Hey, bud.
I think we know who the author of lies is, and I've been listening to you for a long time.
So Satan is the winner?
I feel like we're getting close, Alex. And I know Skousen says 5-10 years, Russia and China aren't ready. I disagree with that. And I want to know, what does your spirit tell you? How close do you really think we are to a flashpoint event occurring?
I don't know, but everything's accelerating. Everything's getting crazier. We're looking at a world that could be on fire very, very quickly. Tell me, who do you think, because it's a question, who do you think, though, temporally, a human on this earth, who deserves, it shouldn't be the Baghdad Bob Award, it should be the Satan is a Liar Award. Who gets Satanic Level Lying Award?
Well, I gave you my answer, the author of lies. He's it.
I know, but I told you the devil is not a human. So a human. Who is most Satan-like when it comes to lying?
I would have to say the wolves in the pulpit.
There are wolves in the pulpit saying do whatever the government says. Yes. Good point. All right. Tiffany in Texas. So we got one for preachers. Preachers are the biggest devils. It's kind of unfair. There's a lot of great preachers, but I get it. Establishment preachers, that's one vote there. Satan gets one vote. Bill Clinton one vote. Obama one vote. Baghdad Bob gets one vote. Tiffany, who do you think deserves this laurel?
Hey, Alex. Thank you for having me be a part of this tradition.
Oh, no need to be part of the first annual Baghdad Bob, a.k.a. I Want to Be Like Satan Award. Who's the biggest liar?
I would have to say President Obama, just because when he ran on this election, he made it seem like you were all going to be delivered with hope, and it was going to be a great thing for him winning, and it's just been lies and deceit to be an understatement. So, Obama for sure.
So Obama gets the most outrageous liar award?
Yes, for sure.
You mean you don't believe him? You don't believe him that when you go work and get your paycheck, you didn't build that?
Oh, no, I'm sitting here at work now, so I'm very sure I'm working for it. It's just...
Oh, you mean that's a good point. You mean when you lift weights or do aerobics, you didn't build your muscles?
Oh, well, you know, let Obama tell it. Maybe that's true.
You know what I think? I think you're a conspiracy theorist and aren't allowed to have a view that you have your job and get your paycheck or run your business, or that you work out and get that great figure. Get rid of that extreme.
You know what?
I'm sorry, go ahead, extremist.
You know, I'm a typical American citizen, and it's just sad that we're all fully aware, and then it's just like we're feeding lies when we tell the truth. So it's just like the truth has been told to be a lie, and now the lie...
Folks, I'm sorry for those racist comments you just heard. I apologize. All right, let's go ahead and go back to your phone calls here.
Then came the day at the bottom of the mine.
Let's go ahead and talk to Dustin in Nebraska. You're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Hi, how you doing, Alex?
Pretty good, my friend. What's on your mind?
I think the biggest BSer is Obama with this affiliation with the New World Order, because they just keep constantly telling you lies, trying to think that Americans are so stupid.
While they put the police in black uniforms and armored vehicles are delivered and surveillance systems are put up, yeah, we're in trouble. They're only stalling us till they blow stuff up and blame it on us and say we're all terrorists. I mean, you know that, right?
Yes, I do. I served a tour in the United States Navy when I got out of high school back in 2000.
Well, thank you for your service.
And part of this Taylor's Creed is Dustin Kramer, will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against freedom and to defend the freedom and democracy around the world, whatever, but against all foreign and domestic enemies. And I think Obama is a domestic enemy with no good for the United States. So would that be enough to support maybe like a movement?
Oh, listen, I mean, we've got to impeach him now, but what's cut and dry is Fast and Furious. They're caught red-handed, Solyndra red-handed, and they're caught red-handed, my friend, brother, on this telling banks not to let gun dealers or gun shops have accounts or cancel them. That's on record. They did that. That's torturous interference. It's racketeering. It's a civil rights violation. It is pure mafia, and they should be indicted right now, but that's not going to happen. We need impeachment right now. But Congress is blackmailed and scared. But as more people turn against the system, it can happen. And it won't fix things if we end up indicting Obama or he has to step down, but it'll scare government for a while, and we'll see reforms like we saw in the 70s. I mean, these people are getting away with everything right now. And if they get away with all this, I appreciate your call. If they get away with this, the sky's the limit. I mean, there's not much further to go, folks. They get away with this, it's rampant criminal activity. It already is rampant, but I mean, more people continue to die in FBI custody. They go pick people up, they go to interview, and they end up dead. Man arrested in FBI sting, found dead in federal custody. The guy they tried to blame the anthrax, the third round, Patsy. The doctor they tried to blame for the anthrax attack, we actually know who did it. They killed him. And it was buried in the news that he, quote, OD'd on prescription Tylenol. And then this guy, a Washington State man charged with plotting to blow up several buildings, was found dead in federal custody Thursday. See, when they set up these patsies like Atari militia, the judges end up releasing them because it turns out it's all staged. The new thing is just kill you, and then they still get the headline that a domestic terrorist existed. And then it doesn't come out it was all fake. Even the New York Times admitted almost every one of these events is totally made up, or they find a mental patient. Folks, I would never do this. I'm saying hypothetically, though. I guarantee you, and I wouldn't do it because they'd set me up and claim it was real. I could go out and in 5 hours find a homeless person who was mentally ill and give them a few $1,000s and give them alcohol and then give them a fake bomb and say, go blow up the police station. Guaranteed. And then if I was FBI, put them in handcuffs, take them into jail. That's what they do. In most cases, they get mentally ill homeless people or mentally ill black people so they can claim they're Muslims. It turns out they're not in almost every case. And I'm not saying there aren't real Muslim terrorists. The point is they're in the Middle East and other areas. It's in almost every case, the Christmas tree bomber, all of it, look it up. They are literally mental patients. They are homeless, former state hospital people or out of their mind, crazy, racist white people and who have like 75 IQs. I had brain surgery. I want to kill the blacks. I mean, they literally get people like that with one tooth who've had brain surgery going, I won't kill black people. I won't kill them. I won't kill them. I mean, it's just totally fake. And so now the new deal is they just get you in custody. And it's like, oh, he died in custody. Never mind. No investigation. Just, oh. Cruz says that they want to vote. 3 or 4 guys back there, John Bound and others, they all want to give their take on who they think the greatest baloney master is the last 20 years. We've got right now 3 votes for Obama, 1 for Bill Clinton, 1 for Baghdad Bob, 1 for Satan, and 1 for just lying establishment, Romans 13 preachers in general. Again, I'm your host, Alex Jones. Now with the level of lies becoming just mega level by Jay Carney, also known as Baghdad Bob Part 2, the American Baghdad Bob. Because of the fact that he's been knighted Baghdad Bob too, I mean, I'm kind of nominating him as well. I mean, I think he's a really important person when it comes to lying. He says the new Bengazi memos they lied about, those aren't about Bengazi, even though they say they're about Bengazi. So, I mean, he's kind of really pushing for first place there, in my view. I am prejudicing things. Baghdad Bob's incredible, but Obama's giving him a run for his money. So, Phil in Florida, who do you think the greatest baloney master of all time is in the last 20 years?
I'm definitely going to say Michael Bloomberg and his Everytown campaign.
Oh, yeah, when he said he's pro-Second Amendment and doesn't want your guns, he just believes Second Amendment means handing them all in. Okay, Mayor Bloomberg, here, thank you. Keep going.
Yep, and then the thing he's got going currently, you got the FedEx shooter. I believe that's a total farce. This kid, Getty Kramer, supposedly a 19-year-old kid dressed like Rambo with camo and bullets across his chest. Conflicting news stories. Some say it was an assault rifle. Some say it was a shotgun. He's got no Facebook, no Twitter, very few pictures available online. He's driving the same type of car that supposedly Adam Landa drove to the school, a Honda Civic 4-door. Very few eyewitness accounts of the events, and but every eyewitness account, they stated that he's dressed like Rambo. They made sure they punched that out to everybody.
And why are you questioning known certified liars who've been caught running giant hoaxes? You're supposed to believe known certified liars and do whatever they say. I appreciate your call, conspiracy theorist. No, that's sick, okay? I'm with Jay Carney. Oh, by the way, I promised at the bottom of the hour, then I'll go back to other callers. I promised at the bottom of the hour to tell you why I'm wearing a Bohemian Grove security guard outfit today. And I'm going to take this raft of calls, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231, and I will go to your calls, but then I will tell you before the hour ends why I am wearing this very nice shirt that Billy Corrigan of Smashing Pumpkins sent me. Let's talk to Mike in Manhattan. Thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Alex? There's so many to choose from between Hillary, Obama, Holder, Reid, Boner. I mean, I can go on and on. I wanted to let you know, too, I saw your buddy Glenn Beck on a Facebook with an all-seeing eye on his shirt. It was on YouTube. It was Illuminati exposed celebrity sellouts.
You know, he does wear a lot of shirts with all-seeing eyes and pyramids and 322 skulls, and I just think you ought to tell us, what does that mean? Because sometimes I might wear that stuff, but I'll say why I'm doing it as a joke. Like I'm wearing a Bohemian Grove outfit right now. I'm going to tell you why. Why do you think he's wearing that? I think he's wearing it to let everybody in the Illuminati to know that he's on their side. Like you said, he might be in, with the FBI and all that. You know, who knows? Well, there's no doubt about that. But there's some good guys in the FBI. I mean, if I was going to hire private security, I might hire retired FBI agents. I mean, I don't want to fight with Glenn Beck. I appreciate your call. I just want him to stop lying about me and my family, okay? I mean, I do not want to do this. I don't fight with my real enemies. And so I'm not part of that. It's very frustrating. I really just want to be a classy guy. Please, no more Glenn Beck calls, folks. Let's go ahead and go to Chase in Texas. And I see the phone lines are loaded. We're going to get more of those calls ready here in just a moment because I'm going to be going to you. Chase in Texas, listening to 1300 in Beaumont, Texas, 1300 AM. What is your take on the greatest baloney master of the last 20 years?
Well, I guess one specific individual, just given the sheer evil and sellout, is George Soros. I think maybe as a group, I would say the City of London, because everything perpetuates from their fake, house of card money. So that's kind of the angle I would go. But, Alex, could you imagine going fishing with Obama, say, out in Galveston Bay, and, you catch a couple of specks and a couple of reds, and you come into the dock, and you start telling everybody, what'd you get? And you start telling Obama, says, oh, y'all be quiet. We got 6-foot black-tip sharks. We got 18 flounder. And we got a couple of porpoises, and everybody's looking and saying, well, where's the catch? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's exactly what his administration is. It's nothing but a fish story.
That's a good way to say it. It really is a fish story, and it's a fish story that concerns our whole lives, and the fraud just gets worse and worse. We're waking up to it, so their answer is to build up a paramilitary force against us. Very interesting. I hope you're spreading the word down there in Beaumont. That's where my mother's mother is from. I got a bunch of family down there that owns and runs Christmas tree farms, and a lot of great patriots down there in that area.
Yes, sir. Well, Alex, brother, I've been talking this like a man on fire for about 7 years now in the Houston area and just in general. And I think folks are waking up here in this area, no doubt. But, I'm convinced we don't need everybody to wake up. We just need the right people to wake up. And that doesn't mean color or creed. That means the right individual who has the intellect to understand it and to just go out and say, one person a day, I will wake up. And that's been my personal creed. So y'all keep up the good work, man.
God bless you. Appreciate your call from Beaumont, listening on 1300 AM. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Mike in San Diego, listening on Infowars.com audio feed. Mike, thanks for calling in. Who do you vote for?
Alex, brother, thanks for having me. Kudos to the caller. I want to say George Soros as well, and his Open Society minions, and also the folks over at Media Matters cannot envision one more person who has done more to damage our beautiful country. And no, I understand, but it's not just who's damaging us and who the big enemies are. It's who tells the most flagrant, giant lies out in the open and gets away with it. No doubt, no doubt. And, sir, real quick, wanted to get your opinion on the Import-Export Bank. Their charter is expiring this year. Guys like Soros make billions off their corporate welfare. We need to expose them. What's your view on them, sir? Well, all these big globalist inside groups, IMF, World Bank, Exim Bank, Import-Export, all of it are set deals, so-called free trade deals that it would take 2 wheelbarrows to carry the NAFTA documents. More than that, forget. It's selectively written to shut down their competition, to only let certain things go in and out of the country. It's a bunch of rich guys rigging the economy for themselves, and it's just outrageous.
I appreciate your call. Let's get...
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Let's get John Bound and the rest of the crew if they want to chime in. Who do you guys individually think is the greatest liar currently? And remember, you're up against Kim Jong-un, who says that he makes the sunshine when he's not hanging out with Dennis Rodman in an obscene display of bizarreness. We're up against Baghdad Bob. It's not just America. Who is the greatest BSer?
Well, we knew the odds were, not in our favor. But what we did was we hybridized the leader of the Federal Reserve.
Which is not federal. That's a big hoax. It's not federal. It's owned by foreign offshore banks mainly.
Biggest lie in the history of the world.
Well, Obamacare itself is a huge lie because it's written to gouge everybody, too, so it's almost as big. But it's not the biggest lie itself. The thing isn't the lie, even though they are lies. It's the biggest liar individually. So who is that?
That would be Ben Yellen.
Is that Bernanke and Yellen crossed together?
Yeah, Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen hybridized.
Who does that? It looks like some kind of evil rat or something.
That also may be the professor that's living in that dumpster downtown as well.
It looks like the grandmother of Janet Reno and Rachel Maddow.
Lovely.
Anyways, what's the name of that thing on Saturday Night Live, Pat?
That is frightening. That you don't want to see that when you're trying.
Well, listen, keep your opinions to yourself. I think that's a pretty good-looking woman right there.
If you're into that.
Well, I mean, remember Police Academy? When they'd have the cops dressed up with the beards like women? When they were undercover?
That's our vote.
Okay, thank you. Is that really your vote? Let's be serious. Who do you think the biggest liar is?
The head of the Federal Reserve. Whoever that person may be.
That's a good point. Because they just go along with the whole hoax that they're federal and everything. And the hoax is so big it works, like Hitler said, bigger than the lie. You agree with that, CJ? You agree with that, Jordan?
Absolutely.
It's kind of racist. Well, all right. I mean, I don't know why it's racist. I'm just going to throw that in there.
It might as well be.
All right, let's go to Cindy in Pennsylvania. Thanks for holding. Cindy, just before you even talk, I'm going to say you're racist. Go ahead.
Hey, of course I am. I'm white.
There you go.
And I have to vote for Erica Holder. My reason being, he's the Department of Justice. He doesn't indict anybody for racketeering. It's going on all across the country. Look at Harry Greed, for God's sakes. And then you just look at the guys in the government and the women. The men look like women, and the women look like men, and they act that way, too. It's like, my God, I can't...
Well, I knew you'd say something racist or sexist, see?
I mean, I don't even see any real men anymore in the government.
Well, that's inherently sexist to say that men should be manly.
Yeah, well, they should, and the women, Hillary should be looks like a man, and Obama and Holder, they look like women. It's very confusing to me. And of course, Bengazi will go away because it's impeachable. You can't have impeachable.
Well, that's right. The Republicans will just get bigger cuts of the slop pie by blackmailing Obozo.
Of course. But they're all liars. You get down to it, they all lie. That's why they're there.
But we know it's getting worse, though, and nothing's going to be left soon if we don't deal with these people. But I hear you. So you think the biggest liar is Eric Holder. Thank you so much. We're going to go to the next person here in a moment, but here's the running. 1 vote for Bill Clinton. 4 votes for Obama. He's way out in the lead. Baghdad Bob only gets 1 vote. Satan only gets 1 vote as the big liar. Satan, step aside for Obama. Corrupt establishment preachers get 1 vote. Mayor Bloomberg gets 1 vote. George Soros, 1 vote. Eric Holder, 1 vote. Janet Yellen, crossed with Ben Bernanke to create a lovely creature, gets 1 vote. So, I drew a little picture of Yellen right there. So, right now, let's go ahead and go back to the calls. Let's talk to Chuck in Texas. Chuck, you're up to bat, brother. Who is the El Diablo?
Eric Holder.
Eric Holder gets 2 votes. All right.
I'll tell you the biggest group of people are the American people for voting. There should be a no confidence vote.
Well, no. Worldwide, American people would probably get the most delusional, most brainwashed vote, except for North Korea.
Exactly.
Good point. Any other points you'd like to make about saying it's Eric Holder?
I think he's the 21st century biggest liar. I have to agree with that woman that called before me. She's got it dead on. Eric
Holder's extremely dangerous is what he is. I appreciate you calling in, brother. Let's go ahead and talk to Militia Man from California. And he says he's listening by tuning in. I don't know. I guess that means a local station. Go ahead, Militia Man in California. You're on the air.
Hi, how you doing there, Alex? This is Sergeant Joker, Northern California State Militia. I would also say that it's Eric Holder, because he is supposed to be justice. There is no justice. I'd also like to make a few other points. Webster Tarpley basically killed himself yesterday. I hope all of you understand that.
What do you mean? He's okay, right?
No, he's fine, but I'm just saying what he said is going to get him killed. So he went on the air and killed himself. So I hope everybody listening realize.
I don't want to get another talk show hosting people. I haven't had Tarpley on in a long time. He won't come on. He likes Obama now and Hillary, and thinks that the Republicans are the threat. I've run into university professors up in Canada. I interviewed them years ago, and they said, "Look, we know 9/11's an inside job, but we don't want to say it because it discredits the state. We want to get control of the state again." And Tarpley doesn't want the state messed up. He thinks it's good, and he thinks discrediting it is a problem, and that it's bad to say government's out of control. And so, he said things about Ron Paul that just aren't true, and just really some nasty stuff. And, I'd like him to come on here and defend it. I mean, we put Tarpley, from great respect, on the map. And he's... I got him his show on Genesis, everything. I like the guy as a person. But one time he was down here, we were interviewing somebody he brought down who was an open Marxist and was talking about, taking over the country and all this stuff and all of that. And I was, and Tarpley was like smiling about it. And I was like, whoa, Tarpley, I don't agree with this. I'm not a communist, And I don't want to sit here and talk bad about Tarpley. It's just that's where that stands. And, when I don't worship Tarpley and agree with everything, people are like, how dare you not agree with him on everything? It's like, I put the guy on the map. To a great extent, he'll admit that. So I like interesting guests on, but I'm just not into hardcore ultra leftist politics. What did he specifically say? So we're not on a cliffhanger here. Militia Man, what do you call killing himself on air?
No. I'm sorry. I meant Tosh.
Okay. Okay. Well, people mumble so bad that I thought you were talking about Tosh Plumlee. Didn't you say Tarpley?
Tosh Plumlee. Yeah, I'm stupid. But
have you been smoking a lot of ganja today? Oh, I thought you were stoned when you called. How much weed have you smoked?
None.
Do you smoke marijuana, sir?
Occasionally, but no. I mean, I can't right now because
I'm just teasing you. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop you. I'm just joking around. Listen.
Whatever. Yeah. But
in fact, I don't want to even infight with Tarpley. So I want this.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into it. I appreciate your call. I got to go. Man, I just can't deal with all the disinformation. It's just unbelievable, man. People even get names right. I'm not trying to be mean here. It's just, yes, Tosh Plumlee did risk his life. Huge CIA whistleblower yesterday on Bengazi. That should be top story national news. We should do a story about it so that it can be put out on Twitter and other places. It's huge. It is huge. Thank you so much, caller from California. I didn't mean to tease you. Let's go ahead and talk to Dean in Virginia. Dean, you're on the air. Welcome.
Well, as an admitted racist, I will have to say that all the votes are going to the obvious liars. But I want to cast a vote for a guy that's taking a lot of credit for what top talk show hosts are saying, like yourself, that you said years ago, but taking credit for it and condemning people like you for the truth that they bring out. Glenn Beck. I think he has an opportunity to bring all the talk show hosts together, but instead he has to criticize, condemn. You don't do that for people that are on your side, if that's the side you're taking. However, when you sit there and say that you created or found out about Agenda 21 and you wrote a book about it and you've been talking about it for years, that makes me question the authenticity of the heart of the person of Beck.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't territorialize info, but yeah, when I talked about that like in '96, and I made a film in '97, and then he becomes me and then attacks me and tries to destroy me, that I got a problem with. But okay, fine, one vote for Glenn Beck. Look, I want to be nice, okay? So I'm not running up a white flag with Glenn Beck. I'm running up a flag of peace. back to your phone calls and covered a ton of news, and there's a lot of it we haven't gotten to yet, but these calls are great and bring up all the lies of these people. We should expose it so the general public that isn't aware understands how serious this fascism is that we're rapidly sinking into bipartisanly. But Obama and the globalists are the vanguard captains of where we're going. I'm not allowed to reveal my sources, and I don't try to know Glenn Beck's business, but obviously at the level I'm at, I'm going to know it. And I don't just go off rumors. Glenn Beck got really freaked out by the stuff I said last week about him, about who's in his operation, where he gets his money, stuff like that. And none of it's really bad, other than the fact that they're directing you to attack me, and that's the proof something isn't right, and your talking points. So just don't read White House talking points that are being given to you, either by the FBI or the CIA, against me, and I'll leave you alone. I mean, it's meant to set me up for destruction, so if you corner me trying to destroy me, I'm going to come out against you. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want a civil war. I don't want any cops to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to be fed into a wood chipper. The globalists are going to sit in Switzerland and offshore in Luxembourg while all this goes down, and in Copenhagen. So I don't want to be part of this, okay? I want to have a country. I love America. And it is a big deal, because I got a transcript of what he said last week now, that he backed off most things. He'll probably attack again. But the good news is you reached out to him, and he is now backing down from trying to set up the liberty movement. Only because we called him on it. But I don't think Beck in the final equation is a government agent. I think he's being influenced and is scared. And I get why he's scared. And Glenn, you just have to get over it. You have to just go with it. Whatever happens is going to happen. He's done a lot of great work. Just keep doing that work and transcend being a jerk to other people. None of us are perfect. I repent every day of stuff I do. But just transcend it. Because we don't want to see the globalists take over and then wish we'd have done more later. Now, speaking of the shirt I'm wearing, and by the way, I'm going to buy some more of these. I really like how this work shirt fits. It's a security shirt. Billy Corrigan of Smashing Pumpkins, 40 million records sold, great Patriot daily listener, says he'll come back on soon. Billy Corrigan, a couple months ago, said, I'm going to get you something really special. You're going to like it. It's really fun. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, well, I can't tell you. It's a surprise. So there's a couple boxes came to the house, and I was looking at them and busy on Monday and never opened them. So last night, I finally opened it, and it was this black official. This is a real Bohemian Grove security outfit. Sent to me by Billy Corrigan, and I don't know where he got it. I'll just leave it at that, let the mystery deepen. But I guess they'll have to change their patch and uniform now. But for those that don't know about Bohemian Grove, can we play the Cremation to Care video where they the May 1st type burning of a child in effigy? Let's play that for folks.
There's been a lot of strange going-ons in that area of Northern California, but this is what the establishment is into right here in America.
Hail Fellowship's eternal flame! Once again, midsummer sets us free.
All right, there you go. I was talking to a very prominent person who was at Bohemian Grove last year, and they've said that the old men look in the woods and think I'm there. It's like I'm a boogeyman. I'm a story because I've snuck in there more than once. Finishing up with the Bohemian Grove news and Billy Corrigan. Tim Frugier, one of the managers up here in InfoWars, heard me talking, and I forgot back in one of my offices that's just full of all sorts of memorabilia. I've been sent mainly by widows, but also more video by workers. The stuff is kind of skull and bones light, Bohemian Grove, where thousands of elite meet every year multiple times. I'm the only person ever successfully infiltrate in and out and get in and out. Repeatedly, in and out of the Bohemian Grove. Many have tried and failed. I don't know why it's that hard. But the issue is people just look nervous is the problem. I've been questioned by Secret Service, you name it, infiltrating. But here is some of the stuff we have sent to us over the years. Widows have sent us their internal annals. It's usually when the guys die. That's how we get them. I mean, the annals can sell for as much as $5,000 on eBay. And we've got 3 of them here. In fact, where are those annals? I should pull those out. Since we moved the offices around, I don't know where all that stuff's at. But these are nice exhibits of the skull and bones type deal. I want to be clear. A lot of the people that go to it, you got about 1,500 members and about 1,000 guests that get called. It's one of the most elite clubs in the world. Global leaders are there, Prince Charles, German prime ministers or chancellors, British prime ministers, Russian leaders in the 50s would come secretly and meet with Eisenhower there. That's all been declassified. Ronald Reagan, all of it. Richard Nixon called it the most GD faggy thing he'd ever seen. But he said he still had to go there. And I mean, that's really the backdrop of it, is just let it all hang out. Doesn't mean it's like gay or the whole thing's a homoerotic event. But that's the backdrop, is that everything and anything goes there. And when I was there once for 5 hours, I had to get into the bushes and hide because I looked good in 2000. You know, I weighed like 190 pounds, 4% body weight. You know, I didn't look Calvin Klein model like I'd looked 5 years before, but I mean, I was really good looking. And Mike Hansen was real good looking then too. And I mean, we were being chased around by old men whistling at us. And let me tell you, it was not a good feeling. I mean, I literally almost had like a newspaper on my butt running, oh, them whistling. And like, ooh, guys trying to pinch my butt. And Hanson goes, let's go into this club, because they have like hundreds of camps with like classical music playing and piano and all these guys. And I walk in and guys are like, hey, not all of them, but some of them. You know, the heterosexuals go out and get hookers at the nearby golf course that line up and fly in. There's just jets from all over the world there. But I mean, literally, I haven't even told this part of the story, but it's true. I was going to the bathroom and a guy pinched me on the butt. I mean, this is literally what is going on at Bohemian Grove. And then there's a little satanic backdrop to it all, but most people don't even get that. But I was told by a prominent person off record, a household name, that they went last year and that it was ridiculous that all the old men, you can actually go online and find the Nixon tape. I don't think I'll play it. It's got profanity on it. Nixon discusses what goes on at Bohemian Grove. That'll pull it up for you. 737,000 views. I think we originally put that up. Can you put it back up? No, that's not our site, but we originally put that up. Somebody I guess, copied it back in 2006. But there it is. And, of course, you can see me right there talking about it on the sidebar on RT. Alex Jones discusses gay rituals of Bohemian Grove. And that is what it's about. I mean, that's not all that it's about. Walking around the Bohemian Grove, I would hear stuff like, we did excellent. Yes, the reactors will be transferred. The deal's done with the State Department. Excellent. And they would just fade off as I sat there for like 2 hours hiding in the bushes, you know, hearing the old men walk by. Because they would go out and walk on the paths where they didn't think there were microphones. They wouldn't even talk in the bunkhouses about the stuff. I mean, it was just CIA, NSA, world leaders. And, I mean, it was all Dr. Evil stuff. But then I guess at night during the 15 days, I mean, I did see a photograph, and so did John Ronson. He snuck in with me, of Henry Kissinger bent over, dressed like a woman doing something. So there you go. I look a little too cop-like in uniforms, don't I? You're not watching us on TV. I'm wearing a Bohemian Grove security outfit that Billy Corrigan sent me, and one of the guys had mirrored aviator shades, so it completed the outfit. Now, if I had a mustache, what would happen? It would just be too much. Total cop from the 70s, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough. I should quit screwing around here. We got a lot of serious news. We're talking about the galactic level BSers and who are they and why do we love to hate them so much. We're taking your votes right now. Then I'll go to a bunch of news overload, bottom of the hour. Let's talk to Ronald in California. Ronald's been patiently holding. They're in Santa Cruz and into San Francisco, listening on KSCO 1340 AM, one of two great affiliates we have in the area. And Ronald, thank you for coming on.
Well, Alex, we've got them surrounded now. For another good singer, you ever hear Chris Isaac?
Yeah.
This guy, Chris Isaac, he's pretty good, too.
Hey, you know who else listens on the station you're listening to right now?
Go ahead.
Doris Day. And then guess who else listens to the show right there in Santa Cruz, confirmed?
Clint Eastwood.
I guess you know that. Okay. Yeah, I want to say hi to Clint Eastwood. We wish you would call into our show like you do Michael Savage's. We know you listen to both shows. Oh, great one. I knew Charlton Heston a little bit, and I would just literally would love to talk to you because you're one of the greatest hardworking phenomenon artists ever, and I appreciate all you've done for Americana. Oh, great leader, Clint Eastwood. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, he's got this good movie.
It's not right that he talks to the owner of the station and tells him stuff and won't come on my show. Of course, we haven't really asked Clint Eastwood to come on because he's like so unreachable, like up on Mount Olympus. You guys go after Clint Eastwood. Whatever he wants to talk about. Okay, I keep forgetting to do that. Go ahead.
You know how it is. Everybody bugs big shots, and more importantly, big shots have a disproportionate sense of fear of getting killed. So the point is...
Clint Eastwood pumps his own gas, man.
Pardon?
You know Clint Eastwood pumps his own gas? He's like a down-to-earth guy. We
all pump in California. You guys still have people pump your gas?
No, what I mean is most people at his level have people that pump their gas. And it's not because they're elitist. It's because they're so busy.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they want to keep their hands clean for signing autographs and stuff. I grew up near Bohemian Grove, too, and that's Sonoma County. It's 130 miles from Santa Cruz. So, here's the thing, the topic. I'm going to give you 3 clues and see if you can guess. This agency has a secret budget.
Mm-hmm.
It has actually a license to kill people, and it actually has a very good image in people's minds in America. Should I tell you?
No, say that again.
It actually has a secret budget. It actually kills people. It seemingly has a license to kill people, and yet it has a seemingly good image in most Americans' minds.
The CIA?
No, it's the FBI. It's literally FBI. And somebody told me even in Washington, D.C., everyone, including Supreme Court justices, is afraid of the FBI. That's why, they come in on all these local false flag operations. These cities, they're the lead, they're the top dog on all the local police departments.
Well, no, I mean, look, most FBI agents are like Boy Scouts and are hardworking, but there are compartmentalized hit teams. It was the FBI anti-terror group that led the ATF operation in Oklahoma City. We even have their hotel receipts and the names and witnesses that saw them there. So, yes, when someone comes to kill you a lot of times, it's FBI.
Or they cover it up.
Or they cover it up. But let me tell you who really kills people. You want to know who does the killing in this country?
Go ahead.
I'll tell you who does most of the hanging around here. It's non-commissioned and commissioned Army officers sheep-dipped into one of more than 14 different agencies who are in every town and city awaiting target orders on who to kill. And
right, like the Bourne movies, like the Bourne Identity movies.
No, that's exactly how it is.
Yeah. And so this is the trouble. This is the trouble with famous people, or really famous people, why they don't speak out.
Yeah, but if everybody starts speaking out, and if we point out to everybody in the system this is a fraud, people aren't going to follow orders. They're not going to go along with it. That's already happening. It's why they're going purely to mercenaries. I got to jump. Go to other callers. But you made a lot of really good points, a really good caller. I have multiple articles today on Infowars.com where people get arrested by the FBI, are taken in to be questioned, and end up dead. And they're getting away with it in the cover-up of the Boston bombing, their friend. They're getting away with this now. And it'll get to the point where you can't talk to the FBI or go anywhere with them because you'll literally disappear into a black van. So that's how civil wars start. If the FBI continues to kill people in their custody, then everyone will know it's a death sentence to go with them. And then it goes to the next level where people have to defend themselves offensively. This is a very dangerous situation when the FBI becomes death squads. They killed the third patsy on the anthrax situation. They killed one of the Chechens that was friends with the brothers and knew that they were all really CIA assets. They've now killed this guy. And, I mean, it turned out, the Chechen didn't have weapons, nothing. They shot him in the back of the head. I mean, is the FBI going to come to my house, tell me to sit down and shoot me in the back of the head? Just go, he shot him in the back of the head. No big deal. Holder says it's okay. I mean, there comes a time where, just reality sets in. Man arrested in FBI sting found dead in federal custody. FBI supplied fake explosives for alleged Space Needle Walmart gas station bombings. Larry Gillette, a Washington State man charged with plotting to blow up several buildings, was found dead in federal custody Thursday, only days after being arrested during an elaborate FBI sting. According to federal agents, 53-year-old Larry Gillette, who was serving a sentence for identity theft, told federal inmates that he planned to blow up a Walmart, 2 gas stations, and a division for 3 bank robberies once he left prison. It's always Oregon and Washington where they set people up for that, wanting to blow something up for diversion of a bank robbery. It's like the script they follow. An anonymous federal law enforcement source speaking to reporters on Cairo radio also said that Gillette had plans to blow up Seattle's iconic Space Needle. And see, they need these every few weeks, just a made-up report. Oh, this guy was going to do this guy was going to do that, and then they just die. Upon his release, Gillette unknowingly met an undercover officer and received 4 inoperable pistols, as well as defective car bomb. Reports state Gillette met with an officer, and it goes on. And then now it's been reported that less than a week later, Gillette was found dead in his cell at the SeaTac Federal Detention Center. The U.S. also a FEMA center there. The U.S. Federal Bureau of Prisons announced his death the following day, saying hospital workers were unsuccessful in their attempts to revive Gillette from a suspected suicide. That's a really good one. Let's get one more call in. Sunray, calling from FEMA Region 6. Who is the biggest liar?
I mean, I'm kind of at a crosshair between Piers Morgan and Obama, but...
Oh, Piers Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, though. I don't know. He was pretty honest about how he wants to enslave everybody.
Yeah, just but that interview with you and him, and it's like, guns, we're not going to take your guns.
We don't want your guns. We just want a total ban of them, like England. It's outrageous that I want a gun ban. You would dare say it. Ridiculous. That's a good point.
Yeah, also, I just want to thank you for playing the Lizard King at the opening segment after that ad. That was awesome.
It can be called the End or the Lizard King.
Yeah, well I
guess he's the Lizard King.
It's his voice.
Yeah, he's the Lizard King. That's right. Well, one of the songs has that name, too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, one of his.
The snake is long, 7 miles.
That's awesome. Okay, but yeah, for real, Obama, like a lady said earlier, he just, like, presented this whole facade of hope and, like, everything's going to get better and enlightenment and growth, and then it's just so sick, it's so sinister the way, in his, there's so many things. That,
so you got to give it to Obama, then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's totally where my vote goes. Just
Thank you for calling, Sunray. You're a sunray of truth. More calls coming up. Stay with us. Just briefly know that this hour is brought to you by great storable foods and preparedness company in general, mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. And they've got great customer service. They've got just great people there. That's where I get my storable food. It's non-GMO, super high quality, 866-229-0927. You're insane if you don't have storable foods. And we also sell their very same storable foods from My Patriot at InfoWarsStore.com as well. And we carry their survival seed bank that they developed that's one of the best on the market, if not the best, for the price. InfoWarsStore.com or MyPatriotSupply.com. Now, let's go right back to your phone calls. I want to hit a bunch of news in the next segment that I haven't gotten to, and then back into your calls, and then recap some top stories. Just a lot of key articles we're going to be covering coming up in the next segment. Troops on the ground, U.S. and NATO plan PSYOPs teams in Ukraine. Bunkerville residents expressed support for Cliven Bundy at town hall meeting. That new article popped up. Why the White House is desperately trying to bury Bengazi. Very important article by Paul Watson. Wall Street killed Peaches Geldof. Black Ops helicopters buzz Kentucky residents. Man arrested in FBI sting found dead in federal custody. Why is the media silent about the crucifixion of Christians by radical jihadists? Because it's racist if you don't like to be crucified. Fed up freshman writes white privilege, essay goes viral, says he apologized for nothing. Video up on Infowars.com. Pentagon admits no solution for replacing Russian rockets used to launch U.S. satellites. The globalists have so shut this country down, we can't even put satellites in orbit now. with heavy lifters. But they sure know how to BS everybody, though. Oh, yeah. Our highways are falling apart, and our test scores are dropping. But, hey, they sure know how to lie to us. This Bengazi memo that says it's about Bengazi isn't about Bengazi. My name's Jay Carney. Nothing against the name Carney. Is Carney an Italian name? Look it up for me. But they call the carnival barkers the con artists at the old corrupt carnivals. No, they're not really. They just, hey, you can make it. Go ahead. You can get the doll. What are you, a wimp? You missed the balloon 5 times. Buy some more for your girl. That's kind of a mean Carney. But I'm telling you, his name really fits. I feel sorry for other folks with the last name Carney. It's Irish. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and talk to Denise in Texas. You're on the air. Thank you for holding, Denise.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who is the greatest liar?
Obama.
All right, Obama is in the pole position. So I forgot to give an earlier vote when somebody said it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 votes.
Yes, sir. And can I tell you something? A couple weeks ago when the Bundys were going through that, I called the Washington comment line, the Capitol White House comment line. You know what I'm talking about? Where citizens can call the comment line at the White House.
Yes.
And I told him I was concerned about the Bundy Ranch. The man that answered the phone hung up on me.
How dare he?
Yes. And do you know my mother, my daughter, think I am crazy?
Well, of course. I mean, there's never been a problem with government in history. Everything's peaches. And why is Mom worried about stuff? I mean, that is so bizarre.
I am trying to wake them up, but they won't listen to me. I do not know what to do.
Well, listen, a salesman will tell you, the hardest group to sell is your family. So move on, wake up folks that want to be woken up, feel sorry for your family, but later they'll remember. Thank you for the call. Let's talk to Timothy in Virginia. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm surprised that no one's mentioned this person's name yet, unless I missed it. Hillary Clinton.
Ah, Hillary. So, Hitlery.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton. And she's lied about a lot of things. I found a website that has 199 lies listed. And so, based on that...
I called her Hitler Lee, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, sir, why do you want to be racist and talk bad about her? I mean, she's a woman. Why do you want to be sexist right now? Why are you against women?
Well, I was actually trying to create a balance because everyone's going for Obama and all these other guys. I just really felt we needed balance.
No, but exactly. Criticizing a known multinational criminal, warmonger, lying fraud, murderer is not about women. It just so happens she's a woman. That just shows political correctness, though, would say you're a sexist and don't like women.
Yeah, I know.
I want to be honest. It's the opposite. I really like women.
Yeah, I really like women, but I don't know if Hillary Clinton is a woman. I mean,
no, I don't like Hillary Clinton. And it's not that she looks like a dead horse reanimated. That's not why I dislike her, that she's so ugly. I hate all the ugly actions that she's taken.
You know, what's with all the women in politics that look like men? I guess they're just really trying to...
Well, a lot of them shoot testosterone.
Hillary Clinton shoots a lot more than just testosterone.
Well, I mean, of course, she's picking up the women, the cocktail waitress, 2 or 3 at a time on record. I mean, she is more of a man than us. Men don't have the nerve to go up and grab a woman by the arm and tell them come along. She does. She makes Clinton look like a celibate creature compared to her horn dogging. That was in last April's magazine as the centerfold. Welcome to Planet Hoax was the name of that issue. And it's a hoax that I'm Bohemian Grove Security, but I'm telling you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, look, I said I'd go to news. I'm going to do it, but I kind of started being silly. I apologize. Let me just reset here briefly. Speaking of the magazine, the new magazine is out. It will guaranteed sell out. We just sell it in bulk to wake up people. It cuts down to $1 a piece at cost if you buy a bunch of them. 68-page. It's now more than 64 pages. 68-page, big, glossy, powerful magazine, ladies and gentlemen. And it's got the feds backing off on the front, 1776 Part 2, Infowars.com. Not just on the Bundy Ranch, but what this means, how the globalist power grabs are happening. The feds are announcing they're going to take Alaskan tribal lands from the Native Americans, that it's been their land. See how it works? It's not enough the feds have like 80% of Alaska. They want the rest. Okay? From the poor Inuits, the Eskimos up there. We ought to get Nick Begich on. He used to try to fight them on that. He used to be one of the main elected representatives of the tribes up there, one of the only white guys. They trusted him so much. We need to get him on about that. But Harry Reid behind BLM land grab. Senator Reid breaks ground for solar farm. Harry Reid calls ranchers domestic terrorists. Feds slaughter cattle during Bundy siege. Dirty Harry Reid. BLM's tortoise excuse is horse hockey. Federal government violates Constitution. Ron Paul curriculum for homeschoolers. The article is going to come out next week for InfoWars readers. It's an in-depth, person-to-person interview with Ron Paul, in-depth with Kit Daniels. The title we're going to have is that it's dealing with, he said, the Common Core basically is the last straw, folks. So that's going to go out to everybody that's Mondays, we send out the digital version of the magazine to 300-something thousand people that have signed up for it free. It's a digital magazine you can flip through, share with others. Go to Infowars.com/newsletter, and you can find it all right there. And then you can just sign up, say, hey, I want it, and that and other news alerts will be sent to you. Infowars.com/newsletter. Mass civil disobedience against gun registration happening all over the country. 1/3 of citizens on government database. FBI searches gun shops for domestic terrorists. Disposable heroes, written by Joe Biggs. That's an original article for the magazine. Captain, just like the Ron Paul is. Captain America, a pro-liberty film. Original article by Jakari Jackson with still shots. How bad the economy really is. Roundup, tainting our food. Key article, Baghdad, paradigm of globalist creative destruction. Kurt Nimmo. School sets up Homeland Security class. I mean, this is and it's full of just world-class graphics, ladies and gentlemen. Full of world-class quotes, graphics, cartoons. It's a big color book. People aren't going to read a big book about the New World Order. They will read this magazine each month. So get a monthly, 10-pack or whatever. Sign up for recurring to get 10 packs. And just get it out to your friends and family. Leave it at the library. Buy a 10-pack and have it mailed to the police station or to your local library. Here it is. Great graphics showing beef production brought down to almost nothing by design to shut down the country, and all the graphs showing that. We don't just show you what's happening with the Bundy Ranch. We show you how it's happening all over the country. Here's the big in-depth exclusive Ron Paul interview. I mean, it is a big, beefy one. And since Kit Daniels did it, you actually hear from Ron Paul. I'm not talking over him the whole time. So it's got just all sorts of key intel. Get it today, InfoWarsStore.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. Or you can go to InfoWarsStore.com. And again, everybody's getting out of print. We got into it. Just have a hard copy that you can give people. And it's having a big effect all over the country. And again, we've got all the different graphs, all the different documentation. This is something that's very important as they try to censor the internet and as they try to engage in all this corruption, that we put out something that's hard copied that can be held and given to people. It has a double cover. It's got a great back cover, 1776 Part 2. So again, secure your copies today, InfoWarsStore.com. Now, lastly, my friends, it is integral that we all get healthy. And I am still a disgusting fat body, to quote Sergeant Kurtz in Full Metal Jacket. Will you guys bring me my goodies, please? I don't want to run over and get them. I can't get them right now. I take morning, noon, and night Super Mel Vitality, Nascent Iodine Survival Shield, Fluoride Shield, the Lung Cleanse, and now I am looking at, just really expanding what I personally take. Now, I used to only take a half a dose of the Survival or the Super Mel Vitality. I take more than a dose of Survival Shield, but I've built up with this to the regular dose now. A lot of people take more. Just consult your physician. It's concentrated super herbs and fruit extracts, and it's no joke. It's no game. It is an aphrodisiac. For me, it has that effect everybody else, and a clarity event. In fact, CJ, you randomly told me yesterday, since you've been on it a month, what it's doing to you, and CJ's in really good shape. Is he in there? I can't see him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, CJ, tell folks, I didn't plan this. This isn't planned, is it?
No, sir. Totally impromptu.
Tell me your honest response to what it does.
I would say I just feel less drowsy and more alert, a little bit more even-keeled emotionally.
Even-keeled stimulant with an aphrodisiac effect. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And we did it as super male to be in shape, lose weight, have your glands be healthy. I'm interrupting. Go ahead and tell folks.
I feel a little bit more on the ball. I'd say when things are tense around the studio because it's a news environment and we all have a lot going on, a lot of stresses, trying to cover things, trying to get everything on time, on the ball. It's just easier to deal with. I can remember things faster, and physically, I'm pretty healthy. I can't say that.
No, you're a pretty young guy. You're in good shape. About 6'3".
Yeah. Energy.
Did I guess your height correctly?
Yeah, 6'3".
Anyway,
I sleep a little better. That's weird. Didn't expect that.
Well, that's what Steiner said. You know, he was into weightlifting forever. I knew him back in high school. He was doing it. He was just burnt out. He'd hit that wall using regular supplements, and he got on. He's like, I need more of that. This is no joke. And I mean, he's like glowing when he comes in here. He's lost 30 pounds. He's more ripped than ever, lifting as much weight. And he just literally, now his whole family's taking it. His dad, his brother, you name it. We got the female vitality coming out soon, but quite frankly, we tweaked it a little bit. You know, that's kind of a gimmick. This stuff works better on women. Has your wife taken it yet, CJ?
Not yet. I'm scared. I don't want her to turn into a monster. She has a hard time keeping her hands off me already. So.
That's good.
You know how many kids I got?
Yeah, how many you got?
5.
Awesome.
Plenty.
Awesome. That's a good woman right there, buddy. Anyways, all right. That's what we're talking about. So it sounds like she's already got her vitality stuff. She doesn't need anything extra. But seriously, and the more maxed out and deficient you are, oh, we're just talking about Steiner. Get him in here. I didn't even know you were in here. Push aside my Thundercloud sub. There's like food where your seat is. This is all, come on, sit down. Don't get nervous. You're on air right now. All right. You didn't know you were in, I didn't know you were here. No, here it is. Go ahead and move it in front of you. Wow, that's weird. You only come in here maybe once a week.
What's going on?
Nothing. Move the mic in front of you, Lordship. Anyways, well, you're all dandied up. Where are you going?
Oh, just, you know, this is the way I normally dress.
Just move the camera a little bit that way, folks. I get obsessed with the aspect ratio. There we go. That's a good shot. Or a little bit more that way.
Yeah, I just took
So, what are you up here doing?
I'm just, you know, coming to see the crew, hanging out.
Let me ask you, who's the biggest BSer of the last 20 years? Is it Baghdad Bob? Is it Bill Clinton? Is it Obama? Is it Kim Jong-un?
I'd have to go with like Eric Holder.
Wow, he's getting a lot of votes.
Is he?
We're up to 4 votes on Holder.
Well, he should.
I don't know. What about Baghdad Bob? I mean, he said that the U.S. wasn't even in Iraq.
Oh, they were winning. They crushed the American forces. Yeah. They were pushed back. Yeah.
Have you heard Carney now? They have all these memos that say Bengazi. He goes, those aren't Bengazi memos?
No, I didn't hear that.
Well, it's true. He said it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And he said, if you don't believe it, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Well, yeah, we're all conspiracy theorists here.
This was not planned, was it?
No, this is not planned. I heard my name, and I was taking my super male vitality, and
were you up here getting more?
I was getting more. That's what
you handed it out to all your friends. I'm gonna go bankrupt. Tell folks tell people in 1 minute some of what it's done.
Well, I'll tell you, I was, you know, we've done several videos on it, but I was feeling really depressed and overweight and out of shape, and man, it's changed my life really.
More importantly, are you taking me boating tomorrow?
Yes, we're going to the lake. That's the other thing I was going to talk to you about.
Yeah,
I'm buying steaks. Amy's buying steaks right now. We're gonna ribeyes. You like ribeyes?
That sounds kind of yeah. Of course, I like ribeyes. We always eat over there.
Yeah.
Of course, we can always go to your steakhouse and eat them.
Yeah, but it's more fun when we get to grill and.
I agree, but we ought to invite Matt over, the chef, and have him cook them for us.
We'll do that.
Or your dad. He really knows how to cook them.
Oh, my dad. He's the best.
You know how to cook them better than I do, though.
No, well, I'm a little out of practice because I go to the steakhouse. So I usually let Matt cook them, but yeah, I need to.
You guys have a steakhouse because your dad didn't want to drive too far to get a steak.
That's not completely true. But,
well, I heard that.
Well, there just wasn't really any good steakhouses around that he liked, so.
This is not a plug for the Steiner Steakhouse, but it is the best steak in Austin.
I think so.
You invited me out Wednesday to hear you play, and I'm glad you're getting back to playing your music.
That's another thing. I mean, I never thought in a million years that I would start playing again. And just because I'm feeling good and I'm, you know, my mind's coming back, it's just, you know, I picked up a guitar one day and was like, why am I not doing this anymore? So you had number 2s, number 3s, you name it, in the country charts. Were extremely successful, but you literally walked away from it all in Nashville because you were so sick of it. And, you know, you told me you've been kind of bummed out like the last few years. And you really think, how much of it was super male? You've been going to church and stuff too. You know, I don't know. I just know that since I started taking it, I just feel so much better. And when you feel better and your health is there, you know, that just, it opens up everything.
Well, used to, I'd come up here and work on Saturday. But, I mean, I've learned to go out, have fun with the kids. Then I'm more relaxed when I come back.
That's another thing. Like, I wasn't, like, for the last couple of years, I wasn't even playing with my kids. I was just lay on the couch and watch TV. And now I'm out doing stuff and living life.
But literally, describe what Supermel did for you.
Well, I mean, again, I wouldn't have taken it unless we were friends. I mean, I've tried every
concoction
that there is, and most of it is bogus. And I honestly thought this was going to be one of those, you know, placebo kind of things. And when I started taking it immediately, within 15 minutes, you feel it kind of rush in and give you like an energy boost. But over the long haul, like as weeks went by, my body started changing. If I wanted to put on muscle mass, it just started to pack on. And then I decided that I was going to lean up and get lean.
Because you're going back to Nashville.
Well, I was going to take.
Maybe I should take this away so you don't leave town.
I was going to take some pictures, and my head was, enormous. So I decided I was going to lean up a little bit, and so I just changed my diet a little bit, and it responded. I dropped like 35 pounds, and I feel great. So it's all thanks to you. And
No. It's Dr. Group. How much are you taking is the bigger question.
I do take a little more than it says.
Don't say it on it.
But not much. I take it twice a day, and I take.
They have you at the emergency room with like a 3-week-long erection. I'm sorry. I apologize. Family show. No, I didn't even sell this as an aphrodisiac, but that's the effect it has.
From all the friends that I've given it to, that's like the first thing they call me and say, "Why didn't you explain to me the side effects?" And so yeah, we should probably start letting people know that does happen.
Yeah, it's not advertised as that, and the larger issue is we've got so many estrogen mimickers in us that when we finally get something in there that blocks them, it just is, it's night and day. This is what we're supposed to be like.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think people realize what having your body out of whack, all the estrogen too high and your testosterone too low, what all that does to you. And you get all these health problems from having low testosterone.
Well, I mean, I gave you the challenge, and within, a month, you were ready to endorse it. So I appreciate you doing that, brother. InfoWarsLife.com helps support the broadcast. I meant to cover a bunch of news and take calls. I did not mean to just mention it and say, oh, I got to take it, and then get what CJ was saying, and then you literally...
Oh, sorry,
No. Hey, what time do you want me to come over tomorrow?
Noon.
Okay, good. Then I guess we'll eat some steaks or go boating first and eat steaks.
Whatever you want to do.
Sounds like the American dream, buddy.
Right.
All right, well, good seeing you, brother. All right, take care. All right. There goes Shane Steiner, my old high school buddy. And he's here in the studio with us. There he goes. All right, now I'm completely out of control, completely behind and everything. I'll have to do some overdrive to get the final votes from Andrew, Mercedes, Carl, Joanne, I think, or Joanne. I can't read that. Joni, and then Phil. So that's all coming up. But Obama, hands down, is the biggest liar. Then it's Eric Holder so far. And then the FBI gets 1 vote. Bloomberg gets 1 vote. Baghdad Bob gets 1 vote. Satan gets 1 vote. That's the kind of stuff going on in my chicken scratch. So we're going to be breaking all that down. But I will news blitz when we come back. I mean, look at this story. We got a nightly news story about this tonight. This is RT, but also in Yahoo News, AFP. Coming soon, a brain implant to restore memory. DARPA working on brain implants to help restore memory. And guess what? They want it for soldiers. Human skin used to create sperm. London Telegraph. Feds consider taking Alaskan tribal land. Las Vegas Sun told you that was coming. They aren't going to stop. They're going to steal everything because they're not feds. They're pirates in control of the feds. Payrolls in U.S. rise most of 2012. Total bull. Straight ahead. Hitting some of the other news here. All over the country, they're doing military drills with explosions and gunshots in the cities on record to condition the public. And back when this was first happening in the early 90s under Clinton, they would just say it didn't exist. Helicopters didn't do this. Remember that? Oh, I think I heard Sergeant Sam Cox locally on 590 AM, one of our local affiliates this morning, talking about how Obama wants our guns. And the co-host was saying, you're a black helicopter conspiracy person. It's like Carney. There's no Bengazi memo. Well, it says that. Well, that's not what it is. There's no black helicopters. Infowars.com. Black ops helicopters buzz Kentucky residents during drills, unannounced, with explosions, you name it. Again, it's just amazing. HSBC demands to know how customers spend their money, is now asking people with as little as $1,000 in their account what they're buying and what they're doing. Unbelievable. That's up on Infowars.com. In Ukraine, crisis. Rebels are now downing Army helicopters, Ukrainian helicopters that fly over Russian-held cities. Pro-Russian rebels have shot down 2 of Ukraine's Army helicopters during anti-terror operation in the eastern city of Slavyansk, if I pronounced that right. Slavyansk, Kiev has said. Ukrainian troops begin special operations in Slavyansk. Again, the people that don't want to be under Ukrainian control, they're terrorists. But when the Ukrainian people overthrew the elected government, they were called patriots. I mean, I'm just pointing this out. I'm not on the Russian side, folks. This is bad, period. So that is just some of the news on that front. Meanwhile, I saw this story out of AP. 700 migrants rush at Spain's border, 140 breach it. Africa is collapsing, especially after Libya was taken down. It was helping all of northern and central Africa. It was really, I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying, compared to the globalists, he was like mother's milk. I mean, Gaddafi was literally building dams, literally building up, giving medicine to Africa. And now it is imploding. And look, we just can't take all the people from, the 7 billion people or whatever, or 6.5 billion that want into Europe or the U.S. I mean, we can't do it, especially when they all get welfare. We're already bankrupt and imploding. Around 700 African migrants charged Spain's barbed wire border fence Thursday in the country's North African enclave, clashing with Spanish and Moroccan border police. And why do they want into the area that has European culture? Because Europe's not been perfect, but compared to a lot of the other cultures, at least it had some Christianity to build some civilization. And when Rome fell and the Dark Ages came, it was only Christianity that survived. And you can argue it helped contribute to the Dark Ages, but if you really study history, it's the only reason any civilization made it, folks. That's the facts. And civilization is on the verge of collapse, quite frankly. How'd you like to wake up and hear this? KKK neighborhood watch proposal makes Pennsylvania townsfolk uneasy. The KKK setting up their own neighborhood watch. My issue is you're going to have a neighborhood Stasi watch program. It sounds okay, but what about anti-liberty people? That's more threatening than the KKK because it's actually organized. But the KKK does have a history of persecuting people. I'm totally creeped out by that. I don't think we should have neighborhood watch. You should organize it yourself if you want to, not have it organized by the system. The system is already too corrupt. Payrolls in U.S. rise, most since 2012. Unemployment at 6.3%. That's totally cooked. They go on to say that the economy grew at 0.1, though. That's depression level. That's cooked numbers. Again, they're kicking people off full-time jobs and cutting them down to lower than 30. They're having to get second jobs. This is how they say they've hired more people with pure statistics. So more hoaxes, more frauds, more lies. We're going into overdrive. Infowars.com/show. Nightly news tonight, 7. And then I'll be back this Sunday, 4 to 6, with an original transmission sin trow. Overdrive coming up. All right, let's see if these next 5-6 callers can vote for somebody else and defeat Obama as the greatest liar of the last 20 years. Andrew, thanks for holding. Go quick, please. Who do you think the greatest liar is?
I'm going to have to add on to Obama. I feel bad now. It's just too easy to do.
Well, don't let me prejudice your vote. That's one. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to share a quick story about delusional California. I live in a place that needs jobs, and Walmart, who I'm no fan of, came in and said they wanted to build a distribution center. The environmentalists said no because the pollution that trucks would cause is terrible, but everybody's happy because we have a decommissioned military Air Force base, and Google is coming in to test their driverless cars and their balloon internet.
Which will get rid of the people being able to have jobs and is being used to control us. Great point. Thank you so much for calling. Great point, Andrew. Mercedes in Oregon, you're on the air.
Yes, my vote is, and this is the only time this person's ever getting my vote, is for Hillary Clinton because, as Timothy pointed out, there are a lot of women that are not you know, holding up to the values of the Constitution and doing business deals. But, you know, that you're asking me to, like, find Waldo when everybody is Waldo, you know? It's like everybody's corrupt. Everything's false. We have to, like, work on that basis, you know, we have to find the solutions and keep promoting those and arm everybody with the truth of what is going on, so no one can be in this, you know, denial anymore.
Great point. We have to wake up out of our slumber and admit the hoax. Have a great weekend, Mercedes. Carl in Virginia. Carl, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a really difficult one. You see, Satan is not human, and he's the father of lies. Barack Obama, greatest human BS artist there ever was, it seems. And then runner-up to him would be my cousin Hillary Clinton.
She's really your cousin?
Well, she's my 11th cousin once removed, and George W. Bush is my 10th cousin. So that would probably make Barack Obama a distant cousin to me.
No, it does. They're all interrelated. That's true. Wow.
Because Bush is cousins with Barack.
Very, very interesting, sir. Thank you. Okay, so who's your vote for, Obama or Satan? Did he vote? Let's talk to, he voted Obama. Sean in Montana, you're on the air. I don't think Obama can be beaten now. He's the #1 liar. Oh, good. Go ahead.
Am I coming in clear?
You're coming in clear, buddy. Who you voting for?
Right. Thank you. I'm over here in Billings, Montana, and you know, for about a year they've set up all these elk towers within like 2 years, and they have drones flying around out here. You know.
No, those don't exist. They called me a liar. Then there's no drones.
What do they call that? Gasoline effect? Is that right?
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting. Well, Obama's definitely hands down the biggest liar of all time, I believe.
Well, he's certainly one of the most bold, but I don't know. Baghdad Bob's up there. Kim Jong-un says he makes the sun shine. I think that's, but it is approaching Kim Jong-un levels. I appreciate your call. I'm sorry I'm out of time with Sean and Chad and everybody. I'm just out of time. Real fast, Chad. Okay, he already hung up. I was going to say who he's voting for. Okay, drum roll, please, folks. Obama clearly wins it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 votes. The runner-up is Eric Holder with 4 votes. Obama is the 2014 holder of the coveted Baghdad Bob BSer, son of Satan, father of lies, fraudster, scumbag, piece of trash, deceiver of humanity for telling super whopper lies. I personally think his minions tell even bigger ones. But whatever. You voted. It's your vote. Obama wins the coveted Baghdad Bob Fraudster Award.